Hello everybody, it's Ryan here, and 2 episodes in one day. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. More than Pokemon news has happened, and this news happened first, but Pokemon was like ever present, so I needed to cover that. We have word that the series of visual novels that started Kotaro Uchikoshi's career in writing are getting remade, the Infinity series. I'm reading this from the NoisyPixel article by Orpheus Joshua. So go check out the article, I'll link it in the description. And in this article, there was an interview with the director of Mages, who is the company that currently has the property, like copyright of the Infinity series, because it used to belong to Kid before they went bankrupt. And on this interview, the interviewer says, "This is just a personal question of mine, but do you have any plans of remaking past adventure and or series in the foreseeable future?" And Makoto Asada says, "I probably never told this to anyone, but there was a staff member within the company saying he wanted to do a remake or port of the Infinity series, such as Never 7 and Ever 17. And my response is, if you can make it so it's easy to play in the current gaming climate, I don't mind if you do. That staff member has begun preparations, and we are now beginning to make some progress by clawing through old resources." And then the interviewer goes, "Oh my, really? I'm so excited. We've asked the staff who worked on the previous remake of Ever 17 for the Xbox 360, and although we changed the standing pictures to 3D at that time, many of them said they would have preferred 2D, so we will be refining this area. However, the scenario updates were generally well received, so I told them that if they were going to remake the games this time, they should take that into consideration and rework it. We have staff members who were involved in the project at the time, so I don't think there's any need to worry about that for the time being. Please wait a little longer until we can officially tell you about it, but yes, plans are in motion to remake the series." And the interviewer says, "I'm sure a lot of fans will be excited to hear about this." And then Makoto Asada finishes off with, "I wasn't involved with the Infinity series in the first place, but there are many fans who love these titles for a long time, so I was hoping to release them in an environment that would make them easier to play." So, this is crazy. I never thought this would ever happen. Now, he specifically name drops Never 7 and Ever 17. These are the first 2 games in the Infinity series. There are 5 games in the series. The first 4 have been written by Kotaro Uchikoshi and have the primary creator be Takumi Nakazawa, if that name sounds familiar, alongside Uchikoshi. Uchikoshi is the guy who went on to do Zero Escape, and then he is also the one who has been helming the Somnium Files and the sequel, the Nirvana Initiative. Takumi Nakazawa is the one who has come back onto the team for the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. These two together are like a match made in heaven, writing-wise and game creation-wise. And the Infinity series definitely has a lot of their origins in the style of games that they make. I will say, though, I'm going to very preface this, I've only played Ever 17, the Out of Infinity. That's the only one I've played through, and I've had plans to play the other ones, being Never 7, the End of Infinity, Ever 17, the Out of Infinity, Remember 11, the Age of Infinity, 12 Riven, the Psi Criminal of Integral, and Code 18. I've been planning to play these, but Ever 17 is the easiest one to get a hold of because it actually came out over here in the West, whereas all the other ones you have to deal with some form of fan translation, which they're not bad. I'm just incredibly lazy. The fact that they're confirming at least that Never 7 and Ever 17 are coming out, I am 100% going through Never 7 for the first time, and I'm going through Ever 17 for, I believe it's technically like the second time, but I've gone through like portions of this game so many times because I really loved Ever 17. I will say though, if you are looking for something as exactly the same quality as Zero Escape or the Somnium Files, I would temper your expectations in places. There are a lot of things about the Infinity series that are really amazing, that stand out on par, but I think as writers, Nakazawa and Uchikoshi have both strengthened since their time since working on the Infinity series, and visual novels as a whole have kind of evolved in the sense that, at least with Ever 17, there are typical kind of gratuitous like fan servicey scenes. Like visual novels at this time kind of needed to sell to survive, and scenes like that were included to help bolster sales in any way, shape, or form, just because it was not as widespread as it is today. And even nowadays, visual novels are still like barely struggling to like break into the public consciousness. It's so much better than it was back then. Just keep in mind, there are elements of it that are like, oh, and it's like, it's a little dated, but there is so much to love, at the very least, with Ever 17. And from what I hear, people who are even bigger fans of the Infinity series than I am, who say that these games are worth playing and that the moments are worth kind of like, you know, letting past your initial view. So yeah, when these drop, I'm going to be covering news about them because I've been wanting to do like videos on the Infinity series. And one of the reasons why I haven't is, well, A, because I'm still trying to finish Nirvana Initiative, but B is because these games are hard to like talk about in a modern context without people who are hyper fans of them, because outside of that like hyper fandom or people who were around in the scene, not many people have heard about them. So getting more eyes on these projects is something I definitely want to do, and I definitely want to make videos on them. I'm gonna finish Nirvana Initiative first though, and then maybe before I tackle Infinity, I might do Zero Escape, but we'll see. Yeah, that's your news update. I'm hoping that they tackle Remember 11, 12 Ribbon, and Code as well. But if we just get Ever 17, which I think they'll start with that, and then based on how it sells, they'll decide to tackle the other two, which I think is a smart business decision. Either way, I'm going to be pushing for them. So yeah, buy these games when they come out, please. Check you guys next time.